I might have set some kind of record 3 minutes. That's how long it took for a lawsuit against me to get tossed out of court, with prejudice. Not 3 weeks of back and forth, not some long summary judgment process. No. From gavel to dismissal, faster than most people can heat up a frozen burrito. And the best part? The HOA that sued me spent over 20 grand on their lawyer, just so he could stand there, pale as a ghost, watching their whole scheme implode right in front of him. How did I pull that off? Well, it helps if you're a lawyer, specifically one who specializes in corporate governance and fraud detection. It also helps if the people trying to strong-arm you into their suburban cult are lazy, arrogant, and absolutely terrible at covering their tracks. Let me back up a sec. My wife and I had just bought what we thought was our forever home. After years in a shoebox downtown, pinching pennies, we finally found it 4 bedrooms, big backyard, shady oak trees, and most importantly, peace. The house was in a new development just outside the city limits, a small cluster of 30 homes carved out next to a larger neighborhood called River Pinez Estates. But here's what sealed the deal for me. Buried in the title documents, like a golden ticket, was this line: "This property is not subject to any homeowners association covenants or restrictions." Music to my ears. See, I've dealt with HOAs professionally, and I've seen the nonsense they pull. I wanted no part of that mess. Turns out, River Pinez had been built in 2 phases. Phase 1 River Pinez Estates was your typical master-planned hellscape, 200 beige homes, a pool, tennis courts, and an HOA run like a mini dictatorship. Our street, however, was Phase 2 called the Preserve at River Pinez, a standalone section across a shallow creek, legally outside the HOA's reach. Plat maps, deeds, zoning filings, it was all clean. We triple-checked. So there we are, moving in on a perfect Saturday, sun shining, friends helping, champagne chilling. And then, across the street, this white BMW SUV pulls up. Out steps this woman, tied blonde ponytail, tennis skirt, mirrored shades, and a scowl like we just insulted her bloodline. She stood there for 10 minutes, just staring. Then she marched over. "Excuse me," she said, like she was already disappointed in me. I smiled, wiped the sweat from my forehead. "Hi there. We are just getting settled. I'm Jason." She didn't smile back. "I'm Meredith, president of the River Pinez Estates Homeowners Association." She handed me a thick folder like it was some royal decree. "Your welcome packet. It contains bylaws, your due schedule, and an invoice for your move-in fee." I blinked. "I think there's been a mix-up. Our property isn't part of the HOA. We're in the preserve." She laughed. A sharp, unpleasant bark. "That's a common misconception. The preserve is just a marketing name. All of this is River Pinez," she said, sweeping her hand like she was claiming land for Spain. "With all due respect, Meredith," I said, my lawyer brain starting to hum, "our deed, our title, and the county plat map all say otherwise. We are not in your jurisdiction." She dismissed it with a wave, her diamond ring catching the sun. Clerical errors. The developer's lawyers were sloppy. We are correcting it. In the meantime, you're a member. Then she glanced at the U-Haul. That's been parked for over 2 hours. Commercial vehicles aren't allowed. That's a $50 fine. I'll waive it this time, but don't make it a habit. And that was it. No smile, no welcome, just a threat wrapped in pastel pink polo shirt. As she walked away, I looked at the folder gold embossed, River Pinez Estates HOA, preserving property values and community standards. I turned to my wife and said, "I think we just met the queen of the cul-de-sac. And she wants war." It started small. Letters arrived, official-looking, HOA logo, signed by Meredith. Demands for dues. Citations for non-compliant landscaping. A warning about our trash bin being visible on pickup day. Every week, a new headache. But here's the thing, I don't scare easy. I read legal threats for a living. I pulled records from the county. Original plat maps. Deeds. Developer filings. Crystal clear, our property was not within River Pinez estates. I even paid for certified copies. Then I went deeper. Corporate filings for the HOA listed Meredith as president. Her husband, some soft-spoken CPA named Lance, was treasurer. Their registered address. A UPS store. Strike one. Then came the Kikera letter from a real law firm. A demand letter, boilerplate nonsense, citing an amendment that supposedly added the preserve into the HOA 6 months before we bought our house. They attached the document. At first glance, it looked legit: signatures, notary stamp, legalese. But I've seen enough fraud to smell it a mile away. The developer's signature. From a company dissolved a year prior. The notary. From another state, name untraceable. Paragraph references didn't match. And it wasn't recorded with the county. Strike two. I contacted my title company. They ran the records back to the 1800s, no such amendment ever filed. Your lot's clean, they told me. That document's a ghost. So now we weren't dealing with just harassment. This was criminal. Fraud. Extortion. And then Meredith made her fatal mistake: she sued me. For $625 in unpaid dues and fines. She filed in district court. Which meant she handed me the one thing she never should have: subpoena power. I filed a countersuit. Harassment. Fraud. Abuse of process. And then I hit her with discovery request, 5 years of HOA financials, vendor contracts, board minutes, and most importantly anything related to that forged amendment. The floodgates opened. Thousands of pages arrived. Total mess. But I live in mess. I found irregularities everywhere. Landscaping contracts awarded without bids to a company owned by her brother-in-law. A management company pulled this, run by Meredith herself under a maiden name LLC. $60,000 annually for admin services. No audits. No vote records. Just vague motions passed and typed up minutes with copy-paste signatures. Strike three. And then, buried in an email chain, I found it. Meredith had emailed her lawyer, saying, "We need something stronger to make this guy pay. Can't you just draft an amendment and backdate it?" The lawyer replied, "I won't create a fraudulent document. But if you give me one, I'll use it." She did. The attachment's file name: HOA_thing_v3.docs. I drafted a summary of the whole thing, clean, factual, plain English. I printed 200 copies and, with a retired resident named Han guiding me, dropped one in every mailbox in River Pinez estates. The fallout was instant. Facebook blew up. Meredith posted in all caps about lies and defamation, but the neighbors weren't buying it. "Why is your brother-in-law getting our landscaping contract? Where are the financials? Who approved paying you $5,000 a month?" An emergency meeting was called. Packed clubhouse. Meredith at the podium, sweaty husband beside her. She tried to shout down the crowd. Didn't work. Hank stood up. "What have you done with our community? What have you done with our money?" Silence. The lawsuit. Her lawyer called me to settle. I told him, "Too late. See you in court." And I meant it. When the judge saw the evidence-certified plat maps, unfiled fake amendments, emails discussing the forgery, she dismissed the case in under 3 minutes. With prejudice. Meredith's HOA empire. crumbled. Investigations followed. Board members resigned. Residents voted to dissolve the HOA entirely. And me? I walked away without paying a dime. But it wasn't about the money. It was about standing up. Because if someone like Meredith can bully their way into your wallet and home, what kind of community do we really live in? What do you think? Was I right to fight back, or should I have just paid and moved on like everyone else? Drop your thoughts below. Let's talk about what real accountability looks like in the neighborhoods we call home.